Hi, Sarah. Welcome to Mindful Talks.
Thank you so much for having me today.
Thank you for accepting the invite. How are you feeling today?
I'm feeling great. I just had a nice long day at the office and I'm glad to be here with you.
حلوة قوي ان انت لسه جايه من الاوفيس لانه this is very much in line مع التوبيك اللي احنا عايزين نتكلم فيه مع بعض النهارده which is work life integration. انا عايزه اقول لك ان انا قعدت فاهمه كتير قوي عماله اقول انا عايزه make sure ان انا هقولها work life integration مش work life balance لانه for so long we've been used للترم اللي هو work life balance وهم actually يعني مش مختلفين صح يعني work life integration is more of the evolution we can call it this way لل work life balance لانه النهارده واحنا connected 24/7 the idea of like neatly separating work from life it's really not working anymore, right? Like they need to coexist together. So I want to know from your perspective, how does this resonate with you?
هو طبعا we have gone from work-life balance to work-life integration. For me personally, that was fast-tracked during COVID. When we went back to, we went from the office and worked from home, it was actually my first time ever working from home. I'd never experienced it before. أنا ما كنتش أطلب فكرة إن أنا work from home. بناء على إيه حضرتك? Why would you need to work from home? So when I started to find myself doing things that I would do in meetings in the office, إجباري, bums in seats mentality, ودلوقتي بقيت أعملها in a fort that my kids had built or on a walk with my daughter in the stroller taking a nap or at a coffee shop once we started to reopen a little bit. لا لقيت إنه لا we can definitely do better than balance. There's a way for work to integrate into our lives. And while we may not have had the flexibility before COVID because there was no awareness about how you can do work outside of the workplace, now that we're a bit more aware, we've taken a lot of learnings from that period of time. We have so much more that we can do with integration rather than clear-cut boundaries in the office and then at home. There's no, overlap. Although there really was, if you think about it. We were taking work home and we ended up doing it from there, except after COVID, I think now we feel a little bit more agency, a little bit more empowerment to raise our hand and say, I'm working from home today.
حاسه ايه الحاجات that you witnessed وقت الكوفيد اللي كانت محساكي بالwork life integration and that you want to keep with you?
I need that flexibility. I never realized how important flexibility was. And that's what really allows me to even more closely integrate work into my life. And I am now on Fridays, which are weekends here, but are work days with my headquarters in DC. I am much more willing to answer emails and to be quick to respond and jump on calls because I have the flexibility on Thursdays or on Sundays. And I understand my counterparts and my colleagues know that when they need me, they'll be able to find me because we have that kind of a relationship where we get that the workplace has changed. Some of the other things for sure is setting boundaries. So it's not every Friday that you're going to get me on a call, but at the same time, when you need me, you'll be able to find me. Time management. You've got to block your calendar. You've got to make clear this is a no-go time for me. And this is when you can absolutely hands down find me 100% available to you. But without those boundaries, and for example, me personally setting, or time management, for me personally, I make my calendar publicly available. So you'll know Sarah is dropping her kids off at 7:45. Are you sure you want to make that call right now? You might get Yusuf and Yasmin on the phone like, Mom works too much. You shouldn't be calling her right now. أكيد أنت متأكد اللي أنت عايز تطلبه مني في الوقت الحالي ده is the most important time to do so. Making clear what I'm doing and being shameless that I have kids, that I need to go to the gym, that I've got to host a party. So the couple hours at the end of the day, that's my personal time. But I've worked earlier in the day or I've compensated in other times. Those are principles that make work-life integration work for me as an employee, but also for the workplace.
بصي, I couldn't agree more, but at the same time, I'm intrigued to ask you, how are others accepting this?
هو أكيد the first time that you interact with somebody, You don't want to have to like data dump, like, hi, I'm Sarah. I have 2 kids. I work these days. Sunday in Egypt, it's a Sunday through Thursday. Akid, you don't want to like do this data dump. You want to show, not tell. So you want to demonstrate, show up, be present, demonstrate 100%. When you need me, you will find me. And I will be proactive to share with you what you need rather than you having to come and chase me. That's the core foundation of any functional team. I'm sure you've heard of the 5 dysfunctions of a team, the great book that tells what are the core pillars that are required to make a team work well. The first pillar is trust. So if my colleagues can't trust that I'm going to show up on time for a meeting, then I'm going to send them the document that I promised at a specific time. And if I'm not going to be able to, I'm very clear and I'll let them know why or when they'll be able to expect it. That's what allows them to then say, oh, but she's done what she needs. أنا مش محتاج أكتر من كده دلوقتي. when and if they do, أكيد they're going to, let me know. I know that this is during your kid drop-off time, or I understand you might be doing your personal training now, but, and it'll come from a place of respect for each other's, roles, and understanding that there's some accountability. That's one of the pillars of the 5, the functionalities of a team is holding accountable, your counterpart and letting them know, this is part of your remit and I'm expecting you to do that and I'm going to show up.
أنا عايزة أقولك حاجة تانية برضو. I think by more of us doing this, انت كمان زي set an example for others, especially women.
100%. I mean, that's part of being an employee. You bring your whole self. You're not just an employee of kaza. You bring your life experiences. You bring your professional experiences. You bring your skills and your talents and what makes you uniquely you. That's why they hired you. You also come with kids. You also come with education. Maybe you're looking to do your master's while you're at work, or maybe you're trying to, undergo. A colleague of mine was trying to do the 100-mile marathon or triathlon.
Okay.
That takes a lot of time, right? So that's what makes that person uniquely you, and that's what makes them an asset. When companies say our people are our most important assets, they better show up and demonstrate that we value not just you, but what comes along with you for the ride. And for women in particular, I mean, we get sidelined for promotions because, oh, but she's a mom, maybe she's not going to be able to commit. That does happen. Let's not, let's be real. Sure. And in this region in particular, I'm still dumbfounded that during interviews, people can ask women, are you married? Are you thinking of getting married? If you're married recently, are you thinking of having a child soon? That's so wrong. We are so past that. I remember very clearly when I was pregnant with my first son, I was working in California to promote Obamacare in California. And to do so, we did a full day bus tour. I was 7 months pregnant with Yusuf. Wow. Yeah, I was very pregnant. It was really, I was really, really pregnant. And everyone was like, you shouldn't be on the tour. I'm really worried, etc. And I was like, it's my body and I know what is good for me. And I knew that I wanted to be a part of that for my own professional career because it was, again, part of who I am. So I brought my whole self, my whole 7-month pregnant self on this bus tour all around the nation. And it was one of the career highlights of my entire life. And I respected that they knew this was part of me. And that, I think, looking back, you'd asked me earlier about work-life integration versus balance. Things like that are how we integrate. We respect ourselves, we respect our workplace, and we know when to say enough is enough. So at some point, I frankly said, and I think this was in my second pregnancy, I recall very clearly I was asked to be a part of a full day long conference and then in the evening go to a gala dinner. قلت لهم ابدا ولا يحصل. عايزيني البس كعب وانا عندي 7 months or again 7 months pregnant. مش عارفه ايه اللي بيحصل في 7 months. بس I was like, there's absolutely no way. So setting that boundary and being very clear of what I can and can't do and earning the respect from my colleagues that she gets what she can do and she knows she shows up to the full extent that she possibly can.
And by setting those boundaries يعني زي ما انت you're saying no مثلا to something and not being at this event انت you're saying yes to something else. أنا ليه بقول كده لأنه في ناس كتير ما بيبقوش comfortable قوي saying no. It's good also as you say no to something in order to have your work-life integration to always remind yourself, yes, you're saying no to this, but you're also saying yes to something else.
Exactly. It's not that you're sitting on the couch doing nothing. You're using that time to fulfill yourself. And when you are fulfilled, you come to the office happier. So to be a productive employee, you need to be a happy employee. And for you to look at all the facets of your life will allow you, and fulfilling each one of those to the best extent you can, of course. And this is where the rubber ball, glass ball theory comes into play. What can I drop right now? And if I drop it, it's a rubber ball, it's going to come right back up. And what's a glass ball? If I drop this one, it's not going to be so hot. So remembering what's important, and that changes over time. Remembering what's important and what's a non-negotiable allows you to say no much more quickly and much more easily, with much more confidence.
And also reflecting على حاجة انت لسه قايلاها برضو على productivity. Actually having this work-life integration, it boosts the productivity. يعني هي بتخليكي في حتة تانية. أنا مثلا I recall إنه أكتر وقت I was non-productive at work هو الوقت اللي أنا كان عندي صفر work-life integration. كنت طول الوقت قاعدة قدام اللابتوب بشتغل connected 24/7. هتكلميني 7 الصبح هتلاقيني، هتكلميني 12 بالليل هتلاقيني برد ومبسوطة ان انا كده فاهمة لو I'm super reachable. بس at the end of the day my mental well-being was impacted. Accordingly I was not as productive as I would be لو كان المنتل well-being بتاعي كويس. لأنه طبيعي when you put your energy عامة في الحياة في مكان واحد it's always disappointing. spreading this energy across حاجات كتير قوي بيت بقى family time, your me time, sports ده هيخلي المنتل well-being بتاعك أحسن و accordingly هيخليكي more productive.
And it really brings to mind one really important thing that I think we missed here. It's the importance of taking time off. You can do it after hours, these activities that we're talking about. You can go and take your master's classes after in the evenings. You can, do PT or physical therapy, personal training, late at night so that you can fit it into your work time. But you have PTO for a reason. Take your leave. Take the leave. هيروح عليكي أولا. وثانيا you will recharge. I've made this new commitment to myself this summer. I'm taking every Thursday off. Every Thursday for the whole summer, 2 months worth of Thursdays, I will not be in the office. And I might end up responding to a couple emails here or there. But for me, the feeling of knowing there's 3 days every weekend for this entire summer is just beautiful. I'm so looking forward to it. It's the time that I'm going to use to rejuvenate, to reconnect, to find the thing that, frankly, there's some things that really can't be done during business hours. Maybe instead of using that flexibility, taking the time off to properly process all that I need to do. Take time off. It is core to any employee's experience.
وبصي عشان برضو مش عايزين يعني يبان ان الدنيا يوتوبيا لانه كل اللي احنا بنقوله ده ساعات بيبقى easier said than done. اكيد هيجي اوقات you will need to work late, you will need to work even in the weekends. بس compensate بقى, take that replacement day off right away. يعني don't postpone it to recharge زي ما انتي قلتي عشان يبقى فعلا في ال work life integration ده in place وعشان نعرف نكمل. لانه كمان a lot of people in our generation, millennials, and that's another topic ممكن نعمل له another episode, but are feeling a bit of a burnout. I think also يعني considering those practices will help big time. It helped me أنا personally يعني.
And remember, you are your best advocate. So if you've worked late for a very long time, if you've worked weekends after weekend after weekend, document that. Let your superior know. Let your supervisor know. Document your achievements, because those are the ones that remind how much you've supported and gone to the extremes that are required, so that you have no guilt saying, accordingly, I'll be taking 2 compensatory days off. There's no shame in doing so. be your best advocate, and remember that محدش تاني هيدور على your support. If you don't, no one else will. So document your achievements and ask for that time off. Make sure it's comp time, you're right.
Thank you, Sarah. طب احنا اتكلمنا في حاجات كتير قوي. If there's like one final key point that you want to share with the people who are maybe struggling to achieve the work-life integration that they would be comfortable with, what would be this message?
I think you nailed it. It's what they feel comfortable with. One size does not fit all. Work-life integration means something to me. It's different than what it means to you. And it's different than what it means to the rest of the people that are listening today. And it needs to feel good. You might be leaning a little bit more into work and less into life. And sometimes you need to do that. You might lean a little bit more into life and less into work. And that's okay too. But what matters most is that it works for you.
Thank you so much, Sarah. It's been incredible having this discussion with you. Thank you for being with us.
Thank you so much for having me. I had so much fun today.
Thank you. And I enjoyed it so much as well.
Thanks.
Thanks.